Hi, I'm Tyler, and welcome to another episode of my Christian Music Week reviews. Each week I take 5 releases, albums, EPs, or singles, and after I've listened to them all week, I come back here and I review them. I share what I think about them. So without further ado, let's get to this week's first release. TobyMac's new compilation EP, Music for the People. So before I dive into my thoughts on TobyMac's new compilation EP, Music for the People, let me just say, this came across as a suggestion from You Can't Have It, the Riley Girl. Thanks, You Can't Have It, the Riley Girl, for your suggestion. Now let's dive into this. So, pretty good EP here. Stylistically, definitely a pop hip-hop feel overall. Definitely a strong pop feel in Speak Life. And kind of a pop ballad feel in See the Light, and then added to the pop and hip hop influence in Made to Love is some rock influence as well. And as for the lyrics here, pretty good lyrics here, touches on a few themes. Toby talks about how he once was a most hopeless fool until Jesus' love broke through and helped Toby to see that he was made to love God and be loved by him. And now Toby is hopelessly devoted to Jesus. Toby also talks about how we need to let our light shine for Jesus by speaking life, by brightening somebody's day through speaking life, through the words we say to someone who may be going through a dark day. And also See the Light talks about how it may be an uphill battle, but with God or help on our side, we'll make it through the night to see the light. Up next, Ryan Ellis' debut EP, Episode 1. Ryan Ellis' debut EP, Episode 1. Let's dive into it. So, stylistically here, definitely got a contemporary pop feel here. And definitely some worship influence as well. The song Higher Ground definitely has a danceable pop feel to it. And as for the lyrics here, pretty good lyrics here. So Ryan talks about how when he's done all that he can, but is still caught into battle, he looks to God who's already finished the work and who loves him like no other and is the giver of every gift in faith to make a way even when he can't see out of the wilderness and onto the higher ground where God is leading. Up next, the motion picture soundtrack for Parris Chariz's short film, All Else Fails. Parris Chariz's EP-length soundtrack for his short film, All Else Fails, which you can find on his YouTube channel. Let's dive into my thoughts on this EP here. So, pretty good EP here. Stylistically, a mix of synth, piano, bass, instrumentally, and vocally here. Singing and rapping is what dominates vocally here. And as for the lyrics here, definitely tells the story of the film via song. So, he talks about his girlfriend who he says he'll never leave, but she's struggling to believe it because of their feelings and because of his feeling defensive. But he says Parris says that's the old him, and that they're perfect for each other, and he wants to seal their love with designer diamonds. Up next, so definitely kind of a pretty good representative here of the film story. Up next, War of Ages new EP, Rhema. War of Ages new EP, Rhema. Let's dive into it. So, stylistically here, definitely a metal EP and definitely very heavy for sure. Instrumentally here, electric guitar and drum is what dominates, so we have some bass guitar action in the intro of Unspoken. And then for vocals here, we have screaming unqueen vocals. Unqueen vocals are what the screaming vocals are called in metal. And then we have queen vocals, aka the singing vocals as well. And as for what I thought of the sound of this EP, so overall, when I first listened to it, I thought there were definitely some hits and definitely some misses. But by the third listen, this EP became mostly a hit with me, with a couple exceptions. So I liked a lot of the screaming vocals, but when they turned more to growls, I wasn't a big fan of that. I also wasn't a big fan of the opening scream on Pyrite. And one other thing that I would say too, and this is a positive here, that stood out to me, whoever plays electric guitar for War of Ages is really good at what he does. Really love how he shreds on this EP. And as for the lyrics here, pretty good lyrics here. Talks about how we run into lies when the truth is silence and how we need God to reawaken us to the wisdom of His grace before it's too late. And the closing song, No Altars, talks about how we may have fallen apart, but God is greater than that. And if we just bow down to Him, He will lead us into a better life. Up next, our last release for today, Dillon Chase's new EP, UB Persona. Dillon Chase's new EP, UB Persona. Let's dive into it. So, pretty good EP here, stylistically. 4 of the songs are upbeat, pop influenced hip hop tracks. 2 of the songs are definitely hard hitting hip hop tracks, at least one of which has kind of a trap feel to it. And then the closing song, Epilogue, has kind of a softer feel to it, but even that song is pretty good as well. And as for the lyrics here, pretty good lyrics here, pretty honest lyrics too. Dillon talks about how even though he would prefer not to have to deal with the pain of all the problems that are chasing him, and the pain from these problems are pretty bad, causing him to question God and question himself. But he accepts the pain, knowing that it's drawing him closer to the God who accepts him and fills him up more than this world ever could. And Dillon also talks about how God is ultimately healing him from his from the trauma. Well, that's it for this week. Come back next week for 5 more releases. If you like what you saw in this video, please subscribe. I put out videos every Friday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific Time. Also, if you have any thoughts on today's releases or what I said about them, let me know that in the comments below. Also in the comments, you can let me know if there's any awesome releases that came out today that you want to see in next week's video. Or if there are any awesome Christmas releases that you want to see when I start doing Christmas videos later this month. I got 2 regular shows left, and then we'll start doing Christmas music after that. 2 regular review videos after today, and then starts the Christmas videos. Also, check out the playlist section for the new edition of my Music Month and Dream playlist, available here on YouTube and also on Spotify. This month's playlist featuring songs from artists like Raleigh Clemens, Big Daddy Weeb, Aaron Schust, 10th Avenue North, and others. So go and check that out if you're interested. Well, go now. See you next week. Bye!